It is 3 a.m. The hospital hallway is completely silent. The only sound is a mop scraping against the cold floor. And somewhere down that hall in room 29, a 9-year-old girl is lying in a hospital bed, wires on her tiny chest, a yellow bracelet on her wrist, and a heart monitor counting every single heartbeat, like a countdown nobody wants to reach the end of. Every second that passes, she moves a little closer to the edge. And the man mopping that floor, her father, knows it. He feels it. In every breath he takes, in every step he makes down that hallway. His name is Marcus Hale. He is 42 years old. He has a mop in his hands. There is no sleep in his eyes. And on his shoulders there is a weight that no man should carry alone. Doctors have said the surgery is possible. The procedure exists. Lily can be saved. But one man sitting behind a desk in an air-conditioned office picked up a pen, signed a single form, and with 2 words decided what Lily's life was worth. Claim denied. No lawyer will take the case because Marcus has no money, no status, no degree, nothing. Except a father's heart that refuses to accept the word no. So Marcus makes a decision. He is going to walk into that courtroom himself, in his janitor uniform, with his worn-out folder. And he is going to stand across from Richard Calloway, the most dangerous lawyer in this city, a man who has never lost a single case, a man with a $3,000 suit and a team of 4 lawyers behind him, a man who looks at this janitor and smiles because he cannot imagine for even 1 second that a man who mops floors could ever challenge him. But when Marcus reaches into that worn-out folder and places a single piece of paper on the table, Richard Calloway's face turns completely white in that 1 second, because on that paper was a secret that Richard had buried 3 years ago, a secret that cost Marcus his medical degree, his wife his entire life, and is now costing his daughter her child. The only person left in this world who could bring that secret into the light was the same man Richard had destroyed with his own hands. 3 years ago, Marcus Hale was not a janitor. He was one of the most respected cardiac surgeons in this city. His hands, the same hands that hold a mop tonight, used to save people's hearts. Literally, he had a beautiful wife named Elena. They had studied medicine together, built a life together, dreamed together. And then Lily came. And Marcus says the day Lily was born was the first day he truly understood why life is given to us. Then one night, everything changed. Marcus was at the hospital, a late shift, an emergency surgery, a critically ill patient. Marcus performed that surgery. The patient survived. But the next morning, a complaint was filed against Marcus with the medical board. Someone reported that Marcus had made a serious error during surgery, that the patient's condition had worsened because of him, that he was not fit to practice medicine. Every single word of that report was a lie. But to prove that a lie is a lie, you need the truth. And the truth at that moment was buried when no one could find it. Marcus lost his medical license. The hospital let him go that same night. Elena left 6 months later. She said she could not stay with a man who was falling apart. And Marcus, the surgeon who used to save lives, took a janitor job at the same hospital where his daughter was admitted, because he could not bear to be far from Lily. That hospital was the only place left that connected him to everything he had lost and everything he still had left to fight for. 8 months ago, Lily was diagnosed. Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, a rare heart condition. Her small heart, every time it beats, hurts itself a little more. Slowly, every single day, the doctor pulled Marcus into a private room, closed the door, and said, "Mr. Hale, your daughter needs surgery. There is a new technique, already approved and successfully performed in hospitals across the entire country. Without it, Lily has 6 months, maybe less." Marcus stood in that room alone for a very long time after the doctor left. Then he walked back to Lily's room, fixed her hair, straightened her bracelet, and smiled like nothing in the world had happened, because that is what it means to be a father. Marcus filed the insurance claim that same week. Vantage Health Corporation reviewed it. And 3 weeks later, the email arrived. "Dear Mr. Hale, after careful review, your claim for surgical procedure code 47B has been denied. This procedure is classified as experimental and is not covered under your current policy. This decision is final. Final." Marcus read that word 4 times. Then he closed the laptop, put his hands over his face, and sat there in the dark completely still for a very long time. The next day, he started calling lawyers. The first lawyer said he needed a $25,000 advance fee. The second lawyer said Vantage Health Corporation was his own client conflict of interest. The third lawyer never picked up the phone. By the 14th call, Marcus put the phone down and did not pick it up again. That night, he opened a drawer. Inside was an old law book, medical litigation. From his days as a doctor, he had once thought about going into medical law as a side interest. He had never taken it seriously. That night, he opened it and started reading. What happened over the next 11 months is not something most people would believe. Marcus, janitor by day, law student by night. Every morning at 4 a.m. he mopped floors. Every evening he sat beside Lily. And every night when the hospital went quiet and everyone went home, he opened his laptop in the break room, reading case law, studying legal precedents, writing notes in the margins of printed documents in tiny handwriting. 11 months, no days off, no breaks. No one in that entire hospital knew what this janitor was doing alone in the break room every single night. Except one person. Sophie Reyes was 31 years old, a nurse at that hospital for 6 years. For 3 months, she had quietly noticed the janitor who never went home. The janitor who always had a law book open beside him. The janitor whose eyes were completely exhausted but never empty. One night she walked into the break room and looked at his screen. She stopped. "Marcus," she said, "this is a federal precedent." "If this holds, it holds," Marcus said. "I checked it 4 times. You cannot walk into a courtroom," she said. "You are not a lawyer." Marcus looked up at her. "I know, but Lily does not have time to wait for one." Sophie looked at him, then at the screen, then back at him. "What do you need from me?" she said. Marcus reached into his bag, pulled out a list, 3 pages long, handed it to her. Sophie looked at the list. Her face changed completely. "Marcus, these files are restricted. I know. If I pull these, I could lose my license." Marcus looked at her quietly and said, "If you don't, Lily loses her life." Sophie folded the list carefully, put it in her pocket, and walked out of that room without another word. The next morning, Sophie pulled every single file on that list, one by one, carefully, secretly, and handed them to Marcus page by page. And what Marcus found inside those files made his hands go completely still. This surgery had not just been approved in 3 states. It had been performed successfully in 47 hospitals across the entire country. No complications, no failures, nothing experimental about it whatsoever. But Vantage Health Corporation had deliberately hidden this data inside their internal reports. Because if this procedure got approved for Lily, they would have to approve it for thousands of other patients too. And they did not want to pay. Lily was not one child fighting alone. She was one of 2,400. The day of the court hearing arrived. Marcus went to room 29 before leaving. Lily opened her eyes and looked at him the moment he walked through the door. "Are you going today?" she asked. "Yes, baby," he said. "Are you going to win?" she asked. He smiled at her. "I am going to try, Daddy," she said. "You always try, but today win." He held her hand for one long moment. Then he stood up and walked out. The courtroom was packed. Marble floors, high ceilings. Every seat completely filled. When Marcus walked in, grey janitor uniform, worn folder in his hand, people looked at each other. There were whispers, a few smiles. Someone in the back laughed quietly. Richard Calloway was already seated at the front. 58 years old, a $3,000 suit, gold watch on his wrist, 4 lawyers seated behind him. 30 years in practice, not a single case ever lost. When he saw Marcus walk in janitor uniform, worn folder, he smiled. The kind of smile that says this was already over before it began. Judge Anita Pierce entered, sat down, looked down, directly at Marcus. "Mr. Hale, you have no law degree, no bar license. You understand that if you lose today, your daughter's surgery will be permanently denied." "Yes, Your Honor," Marcus said. "And you still want to proceed?" Marcus looked down at his folder for just one moment, then back up at the judge. "My daughter has no other option, Your Honor. So neither do I." The courtroom went completely silent. Richard Calloway stood up slowly, confident, like a man who has never once been afraid of anything inside a courtroom. "Your Honor, this man is a janitor. He has no legal training, no qualifications, no right to stand in this courtroom. I move that this case be dismissed immediately. Judge Pierce looked at Richard, then at Marcus. Motion denied. Mr. Hale, you may begin. Marcus opened his folder, took out his first document, and spoke. Your Honor, I am not here today just for my daughter. The courtroom shifted. I am here for 2,400 children. Complete silence. Vantage Heal Corporation did not only deny my daughter's claim. Over the past 3 years, they denied the same procedure to 2,400 families across this country. And I am going to prove to this court today that every single one of those denials was deliberate and calculated fraud. Richard Calloway was no longer smiling. For the next hour, Marcus Hale did something that courtroom had never witnessed before. Document by document, he laid out everything. Sophie's restricted files, internal Vantage reports, suppressed clinical data, federal precedents, case numbers, hospital records from 47 institutions across the country. Every time Richard objected, Marcus had a precise counter. Every time Richard's legal team tried to redirect, Marcus brought everything back to the center. The gallery that had been whispering and smiling when Marcus first walked in was now completely still. Watching, barely breathing, Richard made one final move. He turned to the judge and attacked him. Marcus directly. Your Honor, this man is a disgraced former doctor. His medical license was revoked by the board. He faced malpractice allegations. He is not a credible person, and he has no right to stand in this room. Marcus was quiet for just a moment. Then he said, Your Honor, I would like to present one final document. He reached into his folder, pulled out a single piece of paper, and placed it flat on the table. Richard Calloway leaned forward to look at it, and his face in that 1 second went completely white. Your Honor, 3 years ago, the complaint that was filed against me with the medical board, the complaint that took my license, destroyed my career, ended my marriage, and is now killing my daughter, that complaint was filed by Richard Calloway. This document is the original email sent from Richard Calloway's personal account to the medical board secretary containing deliberately false information about my conduct during surgery. The patient he used to or destroy me was his own client. I had refused to discharge that patient early because medically it was not safe to do so. Richard lost a fast insurance settlement because of my decision, so he took everything from me instead. The courtroom did not make a single sound. Richard Calloway sat at his table, both hands flat in front of him, eyes fixed on that one piece of paper, not moving, not speaking. Judge Pierce removed her glasses, looked at Marcus, looked at Richard, then looked at the document. Mr. Calloway, do you wish to challenge this document? 4 seconds passed. Richard Calloway said nothing. He looked down once, and that silence was his answer. Judge Anita Pierce lifted her gavel. Vantage Health Corporation will approve Lily Hale's surgery within 48 hours. No delays, no appeals. This court is also forwarding a formal complaint against Richard Calloway to the Bar Council for immediate review. And regarding the 2,400 additional denied claims presented in or evidence today, this court is opening a full federal investigation into Vantage Health Corporation's internal approval practices. The gavel came down. Marcus stood completely still for one moment. Then he closed his folder, straightened his chair, and walked out. He went straight to room 29. Lily looked up at him the moment he stepped through the door. Daddy, did you win? Marcus sat down beside her, took her hand in both of his, and for a long time said nothing at all. Then, quietly, he said, No, baby, you did. 48 hours later, Lily had her surgery. It was successful. Everything went perfectly. Richard Calloway's law license was suspended 30 days later, pending a full investigation. Vantage Health Corporation was ordered by federal court to review and approve all 2,400 denied claims. And 6 months after that, Marcus Hale submitted a formal application to the medical board to have his license reinstated. It was approved. On his first day back as a surgeon, Marcus folded his grey janitor uniform carefully, placed it inside a box, and on top of that box there was a small note written in Lily's handwriting. Daddy, keep this uniform, because this is what you were wearing when you did the most important work of your entire life. Some people break when life hits them hard enough, and some people get hit so hard that something deep inside them becomes completely unbreakable. Marcus Hale was not a perfect man. He was not a hero from a movie. He was just a father, with a mop in his hands, and a law book open in the dark, and a little girl in room 29 who needed him to keep going, and he never stopped. He never quit.